I may have become slightly obsessed with overnight train travel, and today we're diving into the world of Amtrak rooms. In the name of some highly scientific research, I've tried all 3 main sleeper train rooms aboard the Amtrak trains. Roomette versus bedroom versus family room. What do you actually get? Is it worth the price? And do they feel like sleeping in some sort of a coffin? I've tried all 3, so let's break it down. And we'll look at what it's really like to live in one for days on end. What it's like to eat, sleep and shower on a moving train across America. Awkward angles, questionable bunk beds, questionable cleanliness, and tiny but mighty sinks included. Let's go. Now, quick disclaimer, I am definitely not an Amtrak expert. I'm just a very enthusiastic passenger who's spent a lot of time rolling across the country in these rooms. What I've learned is that your experience can vary quite a bit depending on whether you're on a Viewliner or a Superliner train. Viewliners seem to run mostly on the East Coast and tend to have single-level cars with cool features like a double window situation, whereas Superliners, on the other hand, are double-decker trains. You'll find most on long-distance western routes, and they have a totally different vibe and layout. So before you book, definitely check what type of train you'll be on, because the setup can really change how your trip feels. And hey, for your nitty-gritty detailed questions, you're probably best to head over to Amtrak's website. Plan accordingly, because I'm just here sharing my own personal experience from the rails. Let's start small. This, my friends, is the Roomette, your smallest sleeping cabin option aboard the Amtrak trains. I've tried Roomettes on quite a few Amtrak routes now, and what I've come to realize is that not all Roomettes are created equal. Let's start with the Cardinal, which is a train I took from New York City to Chicago, taking 26.5 hours. This one was on a Viewliner train, which means you get a big window and a second upper level window. Very cool. The Viewliner Roomettes sometimes even come with their own toilet, which leads me to the Lakeshore Limited, which is another route that takes you between New York City and Chicago. This was the only time I had a literal toilet next to my pillow. I could lean over and flush without even getting out of bed. Efficient, yes. Romantic, not so much. Most of the time, however, you'll be sharing a toilet and a shower just down the hall with the rest of the people in your car. The rest of the Roomette passengers anyway. Usually there are 3 toilets downstairs and 1 shower. But honestly, the shower has never ever been busy. Never once have I fought for the shower. Makes me think, is anybody actually showering on these trains? Next, I was in a Roomette on the Empire Builder, which I took from Chicago all the way to Seattle, taking a whopping 46 hours. Here we switched to the Superliner train, which is a much bigger train, 2 levels, and no in-room toilet. I much prefer the layout, and the views crossing Washington on this particular journey were unbeatable. Then there's a Sunset Limited, which I took from Los Angeles to New Orleans over 45 hours. Of course, another Superliner Roomette, double-decker. Very similar to the Empire Builder setup. A long ride, comfy bunk, and stunning desert landscapes. And last but not least, the California Zephyr, my most epic train journey in the States to date. This was also in a Superliner Roomette, and it was the perfect, cozy space to roll through the Rockies and the Sierra Nevadas. Honestly, it felt like I was in a moving postcard. So how about that room tour? So in here, you have a seat on this side and a seat on this side. This pulls out into the bottom bunk. We then have this up here that turns into the top bunk. We have a lovely reading light, music control, push to call button, and our ceiling and night light switch. Over here, we have a long mirror, and over here is, I guess, the temperature control, another reading light, and this is where our power outlet is. Only one. When I walked in, there was 2 lovely plush pillows, and I've slept on these once so far, and they're glorious. Absolutely glorious pillows. Oh, I love them. In the center of the room is a lovely table. It pulls out like so. We can open it up a little further, and we have a lovely checkerboard on here. Underneath the butter cake, little kind of a water bottle holder and another water bottle holder. And up here, we've got some little hooks, got another little coat hook. We've got air control, we've got a ceiling light, we have another ceiling light. Oh, and I've only just discovered there's another little light up here. And then over this direction, there is a little wardrobe of sorts. It's teeny tiny. It's so narrow. Closet, they call it. And here, this is where we have some little towelettes. We also have 2 coat hangers that you can hang things on. Over this side are some little shelvy type things, which I discovered are steps to get up to the top bunk, but I've been using it to just store my bag. And behind here is a secret little crevice down here. And this is the perfect place to put my earplugs, my hand cream. We also have giant curtains. There's lots of Velcro, so you can completely cover up, have a lot of privacy. And this door, it locks, but only from the inside. And yes, I do feel extremely safe leaving my stuff in here. No one can get from the coach car into the roomette without passing by a bunch of Amtrak employees that are questioning you about whether you're in the roomettes or not. So people from coach can't just wander down here. And everyone in the roomettes and bedrooms seem lovely. And I mean, we're all in the same boat. We've all got our belongings in here, so I think everyone's very lovely from my experience.
My roomette is on the upper level, along with several others, plus a handy coffee and water station just nearby to keep us all caffeinated and hydrated. There are also a few bedrooms up here as well. Those slightly fancier accommodations I mentioned before with their own private bathrooms. For anyone needing a quick pit stop, there's also a small restroom up here too, which is just a toilet and a sink. Down here we have 3 additional restrooms. And yes, I do keep accidentally calling them bathrooms or a loo. Plus, there is also a full-size shower for passengers in the sleeping cars. There's also an accessible room down here, designed for those who need a little extra space and easy access. Roomette pros. Most affordable sleeper option. Includes all meals. Yes, even that steak and wine at dinner time. Private and cozy. Ideal for solo travellers or very close duos. Wonder if my brother would like to go in this with me. It's a bit smaller than our train room across Canada. Roomette cons. Very tight space. No private bathroom on most routes unless you like that wild Lakeshore Limited experience. Can feel a bit claustrophobic on multi-day trips. Cost check. I booked multiple roomettes for this series of trips, and they ranged anywhere from $895 to $1,116. This is all in USD. Pricing depends a lot on the route, demand, and how far in advance you book. So, if you're dreaming of sleeper train life, don't leave your booking to the last minute. Or there actually could be last minute details. I don't know. I've never really booked last minute. Coming from New Zealand, I can't really afford to. So, is the roomette worth it? If you're looking for privacy, comfy beds, and you're okay doing your business down the hall, absolutely. It's a major step up from coach, and you still get access to the dining car, lounge, and all of the scenic magic that Amtrak has to offer. Personally, I absolutely adore the roomettes. I think they are so darn cute, and it is plenty enough space for just myself. I love it. Next up is the bedroom. Think of it as the roomette's fancy older sibling. This is definitely the most luxurious option available aboard Amtrak. It's more spacious, much more spacious actually, has both a couch and a fold-out armchair, and yes, most importantly, a private bathroom. Major upgrade. Let's kick off the room tour. Basically, this is the floor plan. There is just oodles and 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 oodles of space. Just down here, there is a table with 2 cup holders either side. These are actual real looking cup holders, honestly. Over here on either side of the table, there is an air vent, and you can turn off this air simply by moving this little thing. In this room, we do have a double window situation. It does bring a lot of light into the space. I really do like it. And the top window does, of course, have curtains, as well as the bottom windows. We've got curtains there too. Taking up this whole entire side of the bedroom is this lovely big couch, and honestly, it's really comfortable. This is obviously going to turn into my bottom bunk at night time, so I'm curious to see how that happens. Just above the seat, there are various controls, like we've got lighting buttons. Oh, that's a nightlight. You click it 3 times. One is off, one is on, and then one's nightlight. And then the same with these, although one goes on, that was really bright. One goes dim, off, on, up, dim, off. And this room came with 3 glorious pillows. And I do love Amtrak's pillows, they're really comfy.
Here we have 3 little mirrors, very cute. And down below we have a sink. Very powerful stuff though, beware. Here we have the mirror light switch. 2 power outlets, quite a few of these lovely little hooks. But just to the left of that, we have a little cupboard section. And inside I was given body wash, conditioner. I really like this, it's like almost like being in a little hotel room. Just down here we have the trash can. Whew. And after walking all the way over to this side of the room, I can now show you here. Oh, we've got temperature control. This is the thermostat. Got some buttons here saying off, low, medium, and high. And down here we've got a attendant call button, but I'm not going to push it. And then through here is a closet, which is really nice. Cute little closet. And then over here, this is our door. So we've got a curtain that covers that door. And lastly, there's a little crevice in here. This is where we find our ladder. And that's what we would be using if I was to have a second buddy in the room with me to get up to the top bunk. Up above the toilet and above the door, there is a ton of storage. A lot of room to pop bags and things, and surprisingly as well, underneath the bottom bunk, there's a lot of room to place bags. So you would definitely have enough storage in here. And then just here is a big mirror, but I'm talking really quietly because I'm literally just on the other side of this wall. There are 2 people, and I can hear them, and they can probably hear me whispering creepily right now.
If you followed my US train series, you'll know that I touched on this just a little bit. By the way, this is Fendus. One of the hardest things about solo travel isn't the logistics or the distance. I'm fine with that. It's actually meal times. Sitting down at a table with strangers and trying to make small talk, horrifying. And that's coming from someone who loves being on camera, adores acting, and loves public speaking. But put me at a dinner table, one-on-one with a stranger, and panic kicks in. So toward the end of last year, I finally decided to talk to someone about it. I used BetterHelp. That's why I'm genuinely so proud that BetterHelp is my paid partner on this video today. What I love is that therapy gives you a chance to understand your thoughts and to say things out loud to someone other than friends or family. Talking to a professional is a totally different experience. A therapist will listen, ask questions, and really help you to see things in a brand new light. BetterHelp makes getting started super easy. Just fill out the questionnaire and you'll be matched with a credentialed therapist as soon as possible. You can switch therapists at any time at no extra cost. Just click the link down there in the description, right there underneath the screen, betterhelp.com /Chloé and Ludvig, and I'm very excited to let you know that you're going to get 10% off your first month of therapy. Therapy has made a real difference in my life, so if you've been thinking about giving therapy a go yourself, maybe this is the sign you've been waiting for. Let's see what I was doing in those rooms, shall we? Now it's time to show you the most luxurious part of this room, and that is my own private bathroom. In here we have a shower, we have a toilet, and I really love the fact that they've got the toilet paper in this cute little tiny cubby hole to keep it dry. That's so cute. Honestly, I do dislike waking up in the middle of the night, putting my shoes on, walking down the hall, walking all the way down the stairs, getting woken up by all the bright lights, often running into someone, one of the crew, and having to politely smile and say hi. By that time, I'm honestly woken up and I struggle to get back to sleep. That's where the bedroom does come in handy. You can just roll out of bed in the dark. You don't even have to open your eyes if you don't want to. Do your pee and roll on back into bed. Well, I do believe it might be shower time. It's warming up, my friends. Well, that was absolutely splendid. And even better than that, I think, was the fact that I just can step right out and bam, I'm in my room. I'm a changed woman. I think I quite like this having a bathroom in my room situation. I took the bedroom on the Crescent from New Orleans to New York City. That's over 33 hours. And I have to admit, by the end of that trip, I maybe was fully converted to bedroom life. I slept better, I felt more relaxed, and honestly, I might have ruined all future Roomette experiences for myself. This particular bedroom journey cost me $1,664 US. Definitely a big bump from the roomette price, but if you're on a longer journey and value that extra space and private bathroom, it might be totally worth the splurge. Bedroom pros: private bathroom and shower, more space to spread out. Meals still included, even that wine with dinner if you want to indulge.
Honestly, if I could afford it, I would definitely go for a bedroom each time just to literally have the convenience of a toilet right nearby.
Bedroom cons: much higher cost. Shower space is a little tight. Basically a shower hug with a toilet in the mix.
Honestly, this is the one I'd pick for couples or solo travelers who just want a bit more room to exist and who want to actually feel like they're on holiday a little bit more.
The bedroom seriously levels up the whole experience. I would book it again in a heartbeat if my wallet allowed.
And last, but certainly not least, we have the family room, and this runs the entire width of the train. So you not only have a window on your right, but you also have a window on your left.
It's perfect for families, groups, or anyone just craving a little bit more elbow room on the rails, or perhaps someone who loves to do walking lunges.
Or if you're like me and you just want to book a big room and lay out there like a starfish.
I've only had one family room experience, and it was on the Coast Starlight from Seattle to Los Angeles, over 35 hours, and it was huge. I specifically booked it for this route because I'd heard that the views are spectacular on both sides of the train. Volcanoes and mountains on one side, dramatic coastline on the other. And since you can't choose which side you're placed on in a roomette, this felt like the perfect way to guarantee the full scenic experience. And just check out this sunset from the privacy of my own room.
Alrighty. How about that room tour? This might just be the biggest train room I've ever been in. 1, 2, 3 solid full-length walking lunges. That's decent. Here is the main seating area by day, and this will likely turn into my bottom bunk at night. We have got this giant thing, which I'm gonna assume is the top bunk that pulls down here, and then there is another one over there that looks like it pulls down as well. A slightly smaller one, obviously for kids. There are plenty of different controls around the place. We have 3 of these different sections with 3 different lights. They've got push to call buttons, we've got temperature control. Over here we have the closet, and it's a double door closet. One door here, and we do have another door that opens up here. In this closet we have a few coat hangers, a little shelf. We've also got some towels, like little mini bath towels. There's quite a lot of storage space underneath these seats, so if there were 4 of you, I'm sure that there would be a lot of space to pop your backpacks, get your stuff out of the way, so it's not taking up a bunch of floor space. Here is our additional window. Got this little foldy out table, but on this side comes accompanied by a tissue box. We have 2 little drink holders, and of course, the window does come complete with curtains, not only on this side, but on this side too. So I can make sure this little room is private as we glide on through these towns. Yes, you might think that I would sit on this long, glorious lounge suite couch vibe chair, but no, I've actually been plonking myself here, sitting at this table and doing work because this chair is allowing me to go forward and I'm feeling a lot less motion sick. If you come with me over here, we have all sorts of goodies. Push to call button. We've got the ceiling light, which I can see also turns into a night light. We have music control. And we also have the power outlet that kind of comes out of its socket every now and then, but that's okay. And then to the left, if you come with me over this way, here is a full-length mirror. Just ahead of me here, nice little shelf. I do really appreciate this because this becomes very handy for, I don't know, if I want to put my drink bottle over here instead. And just beneath that, we have the trash. And just above that, another coat hook. Now it's time to get cozy in my bed. So of course I made my bed for me, and then I've just got this fresh blanket to chuck on, because of course on top here is just like a thin blankie. And of course there's another blankie thin sheet, I should say, covering a very, very thin, tiny mattress. Honestly, though, I did not expect, this feels like maybe like a king single, definitely bigger than your regular Amtrak bunk bed, for sure.
The family room cost me $1,469 US. Considering it accommodates up to 4 people, it's actually a cost-effective option, especially for families. Family room pros: spacious layout, windows on both sides, great for families or scenic routes. Cons: no private bathroom, limited availability on certain routes. It did seem to be rather sold out, so I had to pick a specific date that allowed me to travel on it. Now let's talk food and views. If you need a change of scenery or want to stretch your legs, the observation lounge is the place to be. Massive panoramic windows, comfy swivel seats, and just an all-around great place to soak in the views. Chat with fellow passengers or just zone out with your book or podcast. Not all of the trains had an observation lounge. From memory, the Cardinal and the Crescent. Oh, and the Lakeshore Limited. Feeling snacky? You can head to the cafe car, which seemed to be located downstairs, just below the observation lounge on my Superliner trains. And on the Crescent train, for example, it was just past the dining room. But on other trains, like the Cardinal and the Lakeshore Limited, I don't remember ever even seeing a cafe car. So this probably varies train to train. If there is a cafe, this is a place you'll find chips, muesli bars, sodas, microwave meals, wine, beer, the usual suspects. It's open to everybody, including coach, and it's pretty handy for a mid-afternoon munch. Which brings me to, if you are traveling in a sleeper, you'll also have access to the dining car, and that's where things get really fun. You've got full hot meals, table service, and the classic experience of eating a meal while gliding through the countryside. It's very old school romantic, in a good way. Most trains have a nice white tablecloth, and occasionally you might get a little vase with a rose inside, and it just sets the whole mood. It feels like you're going back in time. The service here is hit or miss. Usually my servers have been amazing and have really added to the atmosphere. Most of the time for breakfast and lunch, we would just rock up to different seating times, which they would announce on the speaker. And for dinner, this was usually attended by making a reservation earlier in the day with your dining car attendant. If you are in coach, however, I did learn during my journey around the States that you can actually book a time for lunch or dinner and just pay for the meal itself. From memory, I think that lunch costed $25 and dinner $45. The meals here are pretty good, usually 3 courses. You get all sorts of tea, coffee, soda complimentary, as well as an alcoholic beverage at dinner time. It was a little bit of a highlight during the trip because you're not doing much during the day, so it's kind of structured by breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then you fill out the time in between. It's also a really lovely way to make small talk, which is fantastic for someone like me who really had to practice this. If staying in a family room or a roomette, you'll be sharing the bathroom and shower with everybody else in your sleeper car. In my experience, they've mostly been clean and well maintained, but it's definitely a communal vibe, a bit like hostel life.
This is exciting. This is the first toilet shower combo I've seen on my trains. Usually downstairs there are 3 restrooms and then a separate shower room. We have a very large mirror. This seems very large actually. And I must admit, guys, unfortunately the tap situation is still very intense. Whenever I press the tap, bam! Water flying everywhere and I'm covered. There are toilet seat covers, there are cups, there's a trash can, we've got some soap, toilet paper, paper towels, tissues, a shaving outlet, cleaner, body lotion, wash, shampoo, conditioner, soap, toilet, and the shower. Oh, and this is also the first shower where there is being product on the wall, even if it is just conditioner. That's the first time I've seen that.
The views are obviously everything on these trips. Looking out the window was quite a big part of the journey, which I know is pretty obvious when you're booking a train trip, but the window situation can be hit or miss. Most of the trains had decently clean windows, but my final ride for this series on the Crescent looked a bit like a bug massacre with a little side of grime. Very dirty. Not ideal for soaking in the landscapes or filming content. In fact, every single time I tried to film an awesome view out the window, my camera would simply focus on all of the dirt on the window instead. So perhaps they prioritize cleaning the windows on certain trains more than others. One thing I didn't realize was that you can actually bid to upgrade to a sleeper cabin on board. I received an email from Amtrak. This was about a week ahead of when I was meant to be traveling on my next train, and I got an upgrade request. Of course, sneakily, that $595 US was actually the lowest option, and according to their website, said it was a very, very poor bid. To actually have a chance to win this bid, it looked like I would have to bid quite a lot of money, which I did not have, so I didn't go for it. There were a couple of rides where I walked into my sleeper and thought, what? Has this been cleaned in between? There were some dusty corners, lots of leftover crumbs, and mysterious stains, particularly on the table and even on the closet. But not every trip. Amtrak's cleaning standards can be a bit inconsistent. I would suggest to bring some sanitizing wipes and spray, just in case. They do always have sanitizer down the hall as well, which I thought was really, really smart. I guess that brings me to saying the usual things like don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for another blah 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 blah. What I really should be saying is if you haven't watched my round trip of America by sleeper train yet, you definitely should. It's a 4-part series and I live in all of these rooms that I'm talking about right here. So if you'd like to see firsthand what it's like to spend hours living on the Amtrak, then come and watch. Okay, bye now.